Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We're going to introduce you to just a handful of our adoptable pets in this episode. We are really fortunate right now in that our dog population is pretty low, so we are kind of showcasing on today's show at the time of filming. These are all the dogs that we have available for adoption without any applications. And Big Time is the first of the dogs that we're going to see today. He is, as his name implies, a big guy. He weighs in at 75.6 pounds, and he's about 6 years old. And you'd think he's a little bit older, maybe he's starting to slow down. Not this guy. Still full of energy, full of life. A little graying in his muzzle, but that's about it. He still has this kind of exuberant puppy energy, and he has no idea how big he is. He's just, not really self-aware in terms of his size. He's also still really working on his manners, and a lot of people might think, hey, he's a little bit older. That's going to be a challenge. Not so much, because he's very treat motivated. He does already have a very nice sit. He definitely understands that, but he wants to jump on people to greet them. So he is learning to keep his feet on the ground. He's learning to walk, politely on a leash. A harness with a front clip, definitely recommended for him. So all of those things are things that, with a little bit of consistency and patience, and the appropriate reward system, Big Time will be able to learn pretty quickly. He's a very confident guy. He's very affectionate. He's playful. Loves to play with his stuffies. He is a toy destroyer, though, so supervision is required. He was happy to play in the pool when we've had it out recently, so he has a ton of really good qualities. And he is a very loyal dog. Unfortunately, his owner became unhoused and was able to find housing, but unfortunately, because of different breed restrictions and things like that and pet policies, Big Time was unable to go with him. So he's looking for a new companion to be his, loyal best friend. And if you think that that's going to be you and you can help Big Time kind of learn some of those basics, you can go to visit fcac.as.me to book appointments to meet with him. We've had a lot of bonded pairs or better together pairs recently, and Zig and Zag, when they initially came in, we thought definitely a bonded pair. They didn't like to be separated. They would, definitely whine and cry when separated. They were a little bit uneasy when they were apart. But as they got more comfortable in their environment, we started to see that they were fairly comfortable being apart. And when you have a bonded pair, sometimes they can take longer to be adopted, which isn't great for them. So we switched them over to better together. So hopefully that will increase the chances that these guys will find loving forever homes. Obviously, they know each other. They do enjoy playing and spending time together. It would be great if they could find a home together, but we don't want to keep them in the shelter longer than we have to keep them together if they're comfortable being apart. So after we altered them, because they were kind of getting tired of being in each other's space too much. It's like roommates who can't get far enough away from each other in the house a little bit. So we separated them, and they seem to be doing okay. We do take them out, and they are able to play together and walk together and see each other, and they do still really love each other, but they also get a little bit of alone time. So again, these guys could be adopted together or separately. They are 4 years old. Zig is the male one of the duo. He has the cropped ears. He is a very affectionate guy, definitely enjoys playing and sniffing and all of those things. He's also the brindle of the pair. And then Zag is the female. She has, her regular ears, and she's just a blue color instead of the blue brindle. She is also playful. She's the Hoover. She picks up all the snacks on the floor that she finds. She's also really affectionate. So these guys, again, are social together. So they are dog social. Could, with proper meet and greets and introductions, be an addition to a multi-dog home, if that's something that you're interested in. So definitely come in if you're into, the little pitties. They are so cute, so affectionate. great smiles. If that's what you're into, then definitely come in and give them a look. See if one or both of them might be a good fit for your family. In order to do that, though, you're going to have to go through that process and make that appointment. And you can do that by heading to visit fcac.as.me. One of the youngest dogs that we have on the adoption floor right now is our boy Jimmy Kibble. He's only 8 months old, and he is definitely a staff favorite. Everybody has good things to say about Jimmy. Not only is he a beautiful dog, he's got this great fawn and sable color. He's got a lot of masking on his face that just definitely makes him stand apart. He's got, those shiny white puppy teeth, and then a lot of dogs actually have darker colored eyes, and he has these really kind of light gray eyes. He's just a beautiful dog, and fortunately, he also has the personality to match. He's a very sweet guy. He is like a typical, adolescent dog. He wants to zoom and run and play. He's very confident. He wants to greet everybody. And he also knows to settle and wants affection and things like that. So he is a good mix, but he is still a very young dog. So he is working on, polite leash walking. He does know sit, but he's working on, maintaining that sit, keeping his feet on the ground, taking treats gently. So all of those basic puppy things he's still working on, but he is very food motivated. And I've seen, from my personal experience that he does, learn fairly quickly when you're consistent with him. And he's just so sweet. Again, everybody here loves him. And he's been on the floor for a couple of weeks now. And honestly, our staff are shocked. We were assuming that someone would come in right away and he wouldn't last very long, wouldn't even make it on the show because he would get adopted so quickly. And unfortunately, he hasn't been chosen and he's not getting a lot of looks from people. But he is an amazing dog filled with potential. He's kind of, as long as you're willing to put the work in, he's going to be amazing. He's fairly dog friendly. The only thing we've noticed with him with kids is that sometimes he comes in a little hot because he's very excited, and smaller kids that aren't super dog savvy are a little bit wary of him just because he's a high energy guy, but no issues with other kids or things like that we're aware of. So if you're looking for a young dog that you can kind of train and mold into the best version of himself, head on over to that booking site, visit fcac.as.me to book a visitation to meet with Jimmy, and you can also find applications there as well. One of our repeat guests today is Mindy. Mindy is currently the shelter's longest canine resident. She came to us with a bunch of other dogs from a case back on January 2nd, I believe. And she's the last one of those dogs that made it to the adoption floor that's waiting for a forever home. And Mindy is a wonderful dog if you're willing to put the time in. She can be a little bit fearful of strangers, a little bit fearful of new things. Just an under-socialized dog, even at 3 years old. And we've been doing a lot of work with her, and she's been making remarkable progress. She is starting to make new friends, and she's starting to be more comfortable around strangers. She's, learning that new places aren't anything to be super scary about, and she's enjoying new experiences. She's enjoying playing with new toys and new smells, and, getting into pools and doing all of those normal dog things, and some of them for the first time. But she is a dog that's probably going to need to date her new family because she can startle pretty easily. We're not thinking that she would be a good fit for homes with small children, just because they do lots of loud noises and fast movements and might not be able to read her body language and know when she's uncomfortable. But, older kids, dog savvy kids should be fine. But definitely it's going to be the families coming in and meeting her multiple times. You're helping to feed her. You're helping to kind of take her on walks so she learns to associate you with those good things, and putting in a little bit of time before she gets home. And we've done that with many other dogs. If you followed us for a while, there was Julie and Achilles and Skylar, those types of dogs who also needed to kind of date a new owner. All of those dogs have had great success and are still happy in their homes with those people who are willing to do that. Mindy is very playful and affectionate. She's been to some training, so we have a lot of tips to help establish her and kind of get her on the right path, but it does kind of require a little bit of commitment. You're going to have to see how she is with us and kind of be willing to work towards getting that. And you will be handsomely rewarded for your patience, because Mindy is a lovable dog, and she has a lot of love to give. And if you're willing to make that commitment and kind of date Mindy a little bit, you can head on over to visit fcac.as.me to kind of book that first date, if you will. After some construction work finally has been completed, we were able to kind of get our small animals back into their former home before they moved to their new permanent small animal room. So if you're looking at small animals, you can come in and visit them and kind of walk around the small animal room like you had previously. And right now we have 2 bunnies housed in there. And because there's only 2, we are fortunate to be able to give them a lot more space. And the first bunny that we have is Eden. And unfortunately, she's a return to shelter. She was adopted from us last summer, and her family is kind of splitting up. And as a result, Eden has found her way back to us. We don't have an exact age on Eden. We do know she's an adult, and she is a beautiful female rabbit. She's got that great kind of dilute tortoiseshell pattern to her. A beautiful bunny, and it's really set apart, set off, if you will, by her ears. You know, one is upright and one just is permanently flopped over. So it's, you know, 2 different sides. One side, she looks like a completely different bunny than the other because of those ears. She is a very friendly girl. She comes up, she lets you pet her. She's very comfortable, doesn't really enjoy being picked up and handled, but is very social, will approach you and again, seek out affection. She's playful. She, you know, enjoys pushing around the different balls that we have for her. She engages with the various enrichment items that we have for her. And she's a happy bunny. She was bopping around and doing all of those things today. So definitely, you know, a better rabbit to choose if you maybe don't have a lot of rabbit experience, because she is already so social. She loves all of, you know, her fruits and veggies, but particularly bananas. They go crazy for the bananas right now. But it is important to do your research. You know, go online to reputable sources. You know, pet stores do have some information, but House Rabbit Society is a great place to get information to make sure that you are providing them with appropriate care. There's a new rescue locally, Leaps and Squeaks. You know, they have rabbits, so they probably have a lot of great care information as well, just to make sure that you are providing them with all that they need. So whether you're a first-time bunny owner or, you know, an expert, if you're interested in getting a new bunny, maybe this Holland a lot mix is for you. And if you think that's true, head on over to that booking site and make an appointment. You're going to go to visit fcac.as.me. The second bunny we have available for adoption is another adult. We're not sure, you know, his exact age. He did come to us as a stray, and he's a Himalayan mix. So he has the white fur with the dark tips. So he has the chocolate tips. So his feet, ears, you know, nose, all chocolate. And then he does have the red eyes. And a lot of people are put off by that. Doesn't really bother me because I know it's just science, you know. It's not a scary thing to me. And he is definitely far from a scary rabbit. Again, you know, super friendly guy. When he was first put out on the adoption floor, I was hanging out in his enclosure with him. He was coming right next to me, climbing on my lap. He was eager to get attention and pets. Not really picking him up, but, you know, he would come up and he would let me, you know, rub his ears and, you know, scratch the tip of his nose. Very friendly, enjoying exploring and playing with his toys. Right now he has a tunnel that he really likes. He is also a big fan of the bananas, so he loves his, you know, fruits and veggies. But just continuously reminding people, a lot of people think that rabbits are kind of an easy first-time pet, especially for kids. And rabbits are actually very fragile. You have to make sure that you're handling them appropriately so that they don't hurt themselves and we don't hurt them. And they do have a lot of care needs. They need things to chew on because their teeth continuously grow, so they need to file those down. If you're letting them roam freely in your home like a cat would, which is totally fine, you need to make sure that you're protecting your home because of the potential fire hazard from rabbits chewing wires and things like that. So you do need to do, again, that research and take those precautions. Make sure he has his hay and his pellets and, again, all those important fruits and veggies, and making sure he's not eating too much of things that are sugary and all of that stuff. But he is another, again, very friendly, confident bunny that's going to be great if you're new to having such a pet, or if you're an experienced owner. He's amazing. Definitely a rabbit that I enjoy spending time with. And sometimes we do get ones that are not as social, but fortunately right now both of the bunnies that we have are super friendly and ready for those forever homes. And if you want to make them part of your family, you can go to visit fcac.as.me. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed meeting these amazing adoptable pets. Keep tuning in for more.